Pokémon is magic. Am I wrong? Is Pokémon not fucking magic? Well, whatever. If you've been keeping up with gaming news, you've probably heard that Pokémon is entering its 6th generation in October 2013 with Pokémon X and Y, and for the first time ever, Pokémon will be a fully 3D adventure exclusively for the 3DS. PS Vita, your coffin has room for about one more nail. This is it. While we don't know a lot about these new games yet, there is a vast sea of speculation surrounding their release, most of which are along the lines of, Fennekin better not be firefighting or I'll bomb Game Freak! But all joking aside, X and Y are surrounded by limitless potential. We may see more new content in Gen 6 than any other new generation has had to offer. So in anticipation of this game's monumental release, I bring you dookieshed's top 5 biggest hopes for Pokemon X and Y. Number 6. 6? Fennekin better not be firefighting! Yeah, I know it's a top 5, but seriously, no more firefighting starters. Blaziken was awesome, Infernape was also awesome, but all too familiar. Emboar is a disgrace and belongs with the dirty Pikachus. No more, okay? Okay. But really, on to the top 5. Number 5! More Eeveelutions! Ever since Generation 1, Eevee has been one of the coolest and most popular Pokemon due to its unique diverging evolutions, more of which have been added in Generations 2 and 4. Another Eeveelution is one of my hopes for Generation 6 that is almost certainly confirmed. All the signs seem to be pointing to it. Everyone wants it. It's gonna happen. The real question, I think, is what type will our new Eeveelutions be? If I had to take an educated guess, I'd go with Fighting and Ghost. The original 3 plus Glaceon and Leafeon sort of rounded out the elemental types. Psychic, Dark, Ghost, and Fighting are sort of always at odds with each other, and I think Fighting and Ghost Eeveelutions would complement Espeon and Umbreon quite well. Plus, there's this fan art of unreleased Eeveelution types, and the Fighting and Ghost one looked badass. I just hope they do a little better than they did with Leafeon when it comes time to name them. Puncheon? Daddion? Mummyeon? Ooh, I know. Spectreon. Yeah, that's good. Who's a genius? I'm a genius. Number 4! Player interaction. That isn't to say there isn't a ton already. I mean, Pokemon has always been about player interaction. Every generation adds more and more. Mixing records, feeling checks, join avenue. But it never really felt that immersive. It was always kind of a separate thing from playing through the actual game. I think with the Street Pass and Spot Pass technology of the 3DS, there's a ton of potential for involving friends and even strangers in your Pokemon world as you play through the game. If there were a way to play true, real-time multiplayer Pokemon, just shut up and take my money! But even if it is just an in-game NPC generated based on your interactions with another player, that would still be really cool. Almost like Entralink, but something I'd actually use. You could go on your adventure with your friends even when you're by yourself! It was always pretty dumb that you appeared to your friends as one of the game's stock trainers rather than the player character, or even better, a character you created, which leads me to my next topic. Number 3! Trainer customization. This is a very widely speculated feature, and I really hope it gets implemented in X and Y. The player characters in the Pokemon games have always been the silent types, which is kind of an immersive thing because it allows the player to think for the character rather than listen to the character blurt something out that you as a player might not even agree with.
Then that must mean you're a photographer!
There was never any reason for you to play as pre-made characters like Red and Lucas, because who they were was always up to the player's imagination, even down to what Pokemon they carried. So why not make the player character customizable? Shit, I don't know, you tell me! I mean, this is such a basic aspect of so many games. I love me a good character creation, but it has to be good. There's no point in implementing something like this if there are 3 hairstyles and 3 faces and 2 noses and that's it. As a separate but similar idea, possibly collecting clothes as you progress through the game would be cool. Yeah, that's right, I just said I want to collect clothes in a video game. Yeah, I played a Blood Elf in World of Warcraft. Shut up, I like to look good, okay? Number 2! Competitive overhaul. I feel like this is where a lot of people are gonna get all crabby panties at me, but this is something I feel pretty strongly about. And don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy competitive Pokemon battling. I mean, that's what it always was, right? Even back when we were in middle school playing Red and Blue, you wanted your team to be able to unload the biggest can of whoop-ass on your friends as possible. I mean, Pokemon is about being the very best, like no one ever was. So competitive battling is exactly what people should be doing. How fucking ever? Here is my problem. The in-game mechanics are encouraging dishonest methods of obtaining Pokemon that are up to competitive standards. What am I talking about? Dream World abilities, IVs and hidden powers, EV training, natures, and even shininess. These are variables that are in place to make Pokemon more diverse. And while it's possible through a lot of hard work to get some of them to turn out how you want, it's not enough when people have access to things like Pokégen, the program that allows you to create your own Pokemon from the ground up that is perfect in every way. Oh, that's funny how your shiny Hydreigon has perfect IVs and the hidden power that rounds out his type coverage flawlessly. You must be an excellent breeder. Abusers of this like to argue that it's all within the parameters of the game, so it's fair, when in reality it's completely unrealistic to hope to attain Pokemon of such caliber in-game. Look, Game Freak, people are smart. They're gonna hack and find ways to cheat the system. If you really want to stop this kind of activity, you need to acknowledge competitive Pokemon battling and not make cheating necessary for people to be competitive. Pokemon should be about skill, not the amount of time or cheating it took to get your Pokemon how you want them. For a game that encourages creating an ever-deepening bond with your Pokemon, you sure end up with a lot of useless Pokemon sitting in your PC that'll never see the light of day because they're not min-maxed to perfection. Why the hell not revamp the system so your Pokemon you adventured through the game with could actually be competitively viable rather than just a big wrong EV'd mess? You know how other RPGs let you allocate stat points? It's just an idea. Number 1! Walking with your Pokemon. This is so simple, and I can't believe it's my number 1 hope for Pokemon X and Y, but it really truly is. If you've seen my video, the top 5 best handheld games of all time, you'll know that I love Heart Gold version above all other Pokemon games. And one of the coolest things about that game was that the first Pokemon in your party would follow you around. Why they didn't implement this in subsequent Pokemon games, I'll never know. Even as an option you could toggle on and off, it would be brilliant. If you haven't caught on already, I'm all about the game's immersion, and I feel like having your Pokemon walk with you is one of the most immersive features I've seen in a Pokemon game to this day. But until more news is released, for now all we can do is speculate and hope. What are you hoping for in Pokemon X and Y? Think I was totally off about something? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe or I'll kill you!